Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on a combination which in the older astrology books have been labeled as the Pitra Dosha, Shrapit Yoga, which can be translated as the cursed combination, which in the modern day language can also be labeled as the incorrigible yoga. A yoga, the malefic results of which is very difficult to fix, which is very difficult to deal with. So definitely guys, like all those people who have got this yoga, these are among those people who you will find running from one astrologer to another astrologer for any of their recurring problems. And when they're not able to find the solution to any of their problems, these are among those people who then raise questions on the credibility or authenticity of the astrology as well. But like the way I always say this thing, astrology should be seen as a science of giving you the right set of guidance, rather than resorting for any quick fix to any of the problems. And definitely guys, if you have these kind of yogas in your chart, then to deal with, I would say that it actually requires a lot of patience and persistent efforts as well. So why I'm saying this thing, very soon you will get to know. So guys, to begin with, definitely any discussion start first with the understanding the participating players which forms this yoga. So the first planet which contributes towards these sort of yoga is the planet Saturn, because out of all the 9 planets, it's the planet Saturn only which has got this department of giving us suffering, punishment, problem, obstacles, delays. All of that domain is of the planet Saturn. And definitely Saturn can be seen as the judge as well, like the way the so-called example from the Lal Kitab, which I always give in my video, that in the Lal Kitab it has been mentioned that Saturn is the judge and Rahu is the kind of lawyer which reminds the judge when you are going through the trial out of all the misdeeds you have done, and Ketu is a kind of a defense lawyer which reminds the judge out of all the good deeds which you have done, so that while giving you the justice, the judge is gonna have some account of all of your good and bad side of your personality as well. So we have understood that Saturn definitely plays a very important role for the this combination. Second comes the nodes, Rahu and Ketu, because guys, it's the nodal axis only which can gives us answers to any of the problems which cannot be understood with a rational mind. That is the only reason even the majority of the diseases given by Rahu and Ketu, in a lot of the times they are not being able to get diagnosed through medical examination as well. So, and in these kind of yogas, you cannot come to any kind of conclusion that it's the Rahu only which can create a majority of the suffering, or it's the Ketu only which can give majority of the suffering. Trust me, both of these nodes, if they are afflicted and they are forming this yoga like cursed combination, Pitra Dosha, ancestral curses and all, then both of them have got this equal level of capacity to create obstacles. So Saturn, Rahu, Ketu. And now guys, if you will find that an individual has got either of the sun or moon, and let's say for example, if your birth is of the time of the new moon, like your sun and moon are conjunct in the same house only, and they are conjunct with like either of your sun or moon or both, and they are conjunct with Saturn and Rahu or Ketu, then this combination is called as so-called the cursed yoga or the Pitra Dosha. Now guys, over here as well, definitely there are different categories of understanding this combination. Now when we say the Pitra Dosha, a lot many times people come into this conclusion that this means that my ancestors are not happy in some loka, in some other world. So it's not like that. A lot many times it also happens that just because there have been some grave mistake which has been done by your forefathers, with your ancestors, the punishment of that which has come to your chart as well. Now let's say for example, we can take so many random example that this could be a case that your grandfather or great grandfather, they confiscated land of someone, and the person who suffered because of this injustice, that person committed suicide. And right at that point of time when this whole fiasco was happening, a child is born in the family, and you will definitely see that the child who will be born during this time at a time when the family is receiving or at the receiving end of all sort of curses, all sort of blames, the child might have this kind of combination in the chart. So this could be one of the alternative way of looking at or decoding these kind of Pitra dosha or the curse combination in the chart as well. Now guys, definitely someone who has born with this chart, now what could be the repercussion or what could be the results of that? So first of all guys, it also becomes very important to scrutinize the chart that if this combination is taking place, in which houses it is taking place. If it is taking place in the first house, definitely it is going to have a whole grip in your complete life as well. If this combination is going to be taking place in the fifth house, not only it is going to eclipse your mind, like the way lot many times people who are like always prone towards negative thinking, toxic thinking, negative demonic whisper in their mind, and in lot many cases, see guys, there are like those cases where suffering or problems coming to you in any other form you can still deal with, but this could be a case that you are being given a progeny who is tormenting you with all sort of problems, or this could be a case that suffering has come in the form of that you have got a progeny which is not where there are some mental or physical imbalance, and throughout the life you are responsible for taking care of that child. Or this could be a case that there is a denial of the progeny and your lineage is not able to go further. So in so many ways, if this combination is taking place in the fifth house, it could be responsible for that. And lastly, or guys, I would say that the most threatful tend to remain if this combination is taking place in the eighth house. If you have Saturn, you have either of the node, Rahu or Ketu, and conjunct with either moon or sun, and if both are conjunct in the same house, then it is going to go worse, and it is taking place in the eighth house. And guys, let me clarify it over here. It hardly matters that in which sign it is taking place. Let's say for example, if it is taking place in the Aquarius, where both Saturn and Rahu are considered to be in a dignified state, but just because Saturn, Rahu and moon are conjunct, it will still create problem in one specific area of life. This could be a case that native might have some lifelong health related concerns or health related vulnerability, or there could be a denial of the progeny, or there could be a case that persistent problem in the matters of your career, in the matters of your finances. And lot many times guys, it has also been seen that when we talk about like all those people who tend to remain very much prone and vulnerable towards the like some natural disaster, calamity, or like the way we say this thing that if you will take up the all those kind of cases where just in one fit of rage you ended up doing something which completely ruined your life. Like the way guys, a couple of days back there was this news, there was this AI entrepreneur. Now this lady, just because she was going through some very bad divorce with her husband, and in a fit of rage she killed her own child. So when we see these kind of news in the newspaper, which is like always been filled with these kind of outbursts and these kind of despicable acts, definitely you will find that these people in whose cases they were not they do not have this history of crime, but just in one fit of rage they acted and they did something which completely ruined or destroyed their life. So then in those kind of cases we can also attach that with these kind of cursed combination or Pitra dosha taking place in someone's chart. And definitely guys, over there as well, like when we talk about any of the problem which is from other realm, this could be called as the natural disaster, this could be said as some possession or third power related problem. So over there like definitely, because if the participating players are Saturn, Rahu and Ketu, the troublemakers are Saturn, Rahu, Ketu. So in this regard you will be surprised that Saturn nakshatras are not that problematic. Like one of the nakshatra ruled by the planet Saturn, which is called as the Pushya nakshatra, it is so auspicious, it is considered as the king amongst all the nakshatras. Same goes with, like, even if you will take up the case of the Anuradha nakshatra. Anuradha is a nakshatra which is considered as the nakshatra of divine protection, which is considered as a very important nakshatra for bhakti, for devotion, for worship. And even if you will take up the case of the Uttar Bhadrapada, that is also considered as the epitome of spirituality, of spiritual wisdom. So if Saturn nakshatras are not creating vulnerability, so out of the nakshatras Rahu and Ketu, which are the most problematic nakshatras? So when we talk about the 3 nakshatras ruled by the planet Rahu, so I would say that more than the Adra, because Swati is a very mellowed energy. I have hardly seen people because of the involvement of Swati remaining vulnerable towards any of the third power related problem. Adra has got slight vulnerability towards that, and Sadbhisha is a nakshatra which rules over these kind of problems, like all those people who are the psychic, who are mystic, who are healers, or they're like those people who are facing the brunt of the suffering. Now guys, when we talk about, like, if you will take up the case of those people who get into too many accidents and they keep on getting operated upon, and you will see the chart of the surgeon and the doctors who operate these people, you will find a similar combination in the chart of both of these two people. Same is the way. The point which I am saying is that if Sadbhisha is taking prominence in someone's life in either of the way, it will definitely make you come in contact with the third power related problem as well. So I would say that out of the 3 nakshatras ruled by the planet Rahu, it's the Sadbhisha only which makes someone very prone. So let's say for example, if you are an Aquarius Lagna and you have this combination taking place in your first house, like Saturn, Rahu and Moon being in the first house in the Sadbhisha, or let's say for example in your case, you being a Libra Lagna, this combination taking place in your 5th house, or this could be a case that you being a Cancer Lagna and this combination taking place in your 8th house, then definitely somehow all these vulnerabilities which I just mentioned, you will remain very much prone towards that. And out of the 3 nakshatras ruled by the planet Ketu, which are Ashwini, Magh and Mula, so I have really found Ashwini people to be having concerns or being borderline around these kind of problems. And even the case of the Magh as well, like Magha is a nakshatra which has still got a capacity, it can create problems, but it can still give you sudden rise and ascension to power as well. Like when we talk about inheritance, wealth and some sort of ascension to power, Magha actually plays a very important role over there, but it's the Mool nakshatra only which somehow makes someone very prone towards being subjected to any of the third power related problem. So guys, what we have discussed so far is that if you have the combination of the Saturn, either of the Rahu or Ketu, and Moon or Sun being a part of that conjunction, and specifically this combination taking place in your 1st house, in your 5th house, in your 8th house, or nothing could be more worse if it is taking place in the with the prominence of the Sadbhisha or the Mool nakshatra, then this can make you vulnerable towards that. And definitely guys, all the results which we have just discussed, in extreme cases, complete denial of something, like if it is taking place in the 1st house, definitely one area of your life might have a lack in specific direction. This could be health related concern, disability related concern, denial of marriage, some sort of stigma in the family. If it is taking place in the 5th house, extreme karma on the account of the progeny, denial of progeny, negative thinking, sudden outburst, suddenly your mind getting eclipsed and clouded and taking those decisions which is going to put you in repeated problems, or which is going to completely change the course of your life. And definitely guys, if it is taking place in the 8th house, so being always subjected to external threats and any of the natural disaster and any of those scandalous energy and remaining prone towards that. So all these are the combination which you will find if these combinations are taking place in these certain houses. Now guys, when it comes down to the remedial part, so what you can do? So first of all, if you have this kind of combination, you have to by yourself follow a very disciplined life. Like we all know this thing that alcohol, drugs and anything to do with the gambling, these are those vices which can definitely ruin someone. And if you have this combination in your natal chart or anyone whom you know, and native also take interest and is very inclined towards these things, sooner or later any of the dasha, any of the transiting planet is going to be transiting some certain sensitive points, it will make native fall prey to any of these kind of problems. So because of which having discipline specifically in your lifestyle, in the company you keep, your thought process needs to be there. Guys, when we talk about the devotion to the gods, I would say this thing that specifically the worship of the Lord Shiva and the ferocious gods, like this could be goddess Kali, this could be Lord Hanuman, this could be Lord Kal Bhairava, can actually act as a divine shield of protection around you. Third thing is that whenever you know this thing that the environment or prakriti, nature is sensitive, which generally happens at the time of the new moon, at the time of the full moon, at the time of the eclipses, at the time of Sankranti, and like those days like Diwali, Holi. So these are those days when you have to be very, very careful if you are also going through very vulnerable dashas during that time. So a combination of a vulnerable transit and a vulnerable dasha will definitely make you very much prone towards external entities or invisible forces attacking you or harming you, or clouding your judgment to take a right decision. So during those times as well, you have to remain very careful. And generally guys, we say this thing that if you have these combinations, so somehow it's like your luminaries are somehow clouded, they are eclipsed. So in our real life, our mother represents moon and our father represents our sun. So remaining very much dutiful towards your parents becomes very important. Consistent pilgrimages to the holy places, Dev Darshan becomes very important, and a very simple life doing consistent charities becomes very important. And in some form, like having an establishing a connection with the nature also becomes very important. This could be as simple as that, feeding the stray dogs, or feeding the birds, or feeding cows. So all these things will definitely establish or give this message to the nature or to the prakriti, which is definitely going to be protecting you. So yes guys, this was just a basic video on which I wanted to explain the combination, because being an astrologer, a lot many times I come across these kind of charts, and like there are certain combinations where even an astrologer is helpless, irrespective of the fact that how much I want to help someone. But these are the kind of combination which tend to remain a nemesis, or which tend to remain a puzzle where native by himself has to discipline, and there are like certain areas of the life which are going to have a lack, which the native also has to accept. So that is all what I wanted to say over here. So yes guys, for further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. Dhanyavad.